I didn't mean to take my phone, but
yeah. Okay, everybody, I want to begin my remarks today by saying a few thank yous. First of all, I want to thank our NHS staff and those indeed who have swelled their ranks for the dedication and for the care you are given to those who have been struck down with coronavirus. I also want to thank the key workers who are keeping Northern Ireland functioning in these very difficult times, from the care home staff and domiciliary care providers to the emergency services, farmers, lorry drivers, shop assistants, utility providers and factory workers, including those who have switched production lines to provide PPE and indeed other vital equipment. And I particularly want to thank the vast majority of you who have been listening to the public health advice and have been following it to the letter. I know it's been hard, especially these last few days, given the special place that Easter has for many families and also because of the amazing weather. Staying within the confines of your home and limiting your activity in public goes against human nature, and resisting the temptation to hang out with your family, your friends and neighbours around the dinner table, the barbecue, the sports field, or indeed your church is a big ask. And I'm especially aware that the restrictions are having a huge challenge for those of you who are living with autism. We are halfway through April, and this is the month when we usually promote the understanding of autism, and I want to take a few minutes to speak to those of you with autism and your families. You have seen your regular routines disturbed, the schools, colleges and workplaces you attend close, and you've become particularly frustrated that you cannot see the people who you would normally be around. I know you want to get your life back to the way it was. I know this period we are all going through is especially hard for you. However, we all need to reduce our contact with people to limit the spread of coronavirus. To those of you living with autism, please remember organisations like the National Autistic Society, Autism NI and Autism Alliance, and they're there to help you. And I would like to commend Sherelle Stewart for the suggestion to send this specific message to those with autism. You can still keep a routine at home. You can spend time doing things you like by structuring your day in a different way. Think about the sensory activities you enjoy, perhaps at school, and try to recreate them at home. Use noise-cancelling headphones or find yourself a quiet space. Keep in touch with friends and family online by emailing or making a video call or phone call. And educational material and games are available online, though I recognise screens are not ideal for everyone. But above all, remember the changes that have been made to the way you live are only temporary, and all of us will return to our normal lives again. By changing your routine and staying at home, you have, along with the rest of us, played an important part in boosting the ability of our hospital workers to weather the coronavirus storm. You've been doing your bit to flatten the peak of the initial wave of COVID-19 cases, and that is helping to reduce the strain on our health service. So I pay thanks to you and those caring for you at what is, and I do recognise this, a difficult time. We are still in the middle of the first wave of COVID-19 cases, and we should be focusing on doing everything we can right now to reduce its peak. If we relax our guard now, all will have been in vain. So please stay at home, everybody, as much as possible. Do not undertake non-essential travel. Exercise outdoors once a day, close to home. And by following that advice, you will relieve the pressure on our health service and you will save lives. There's nothing more important at this time. It really is a matter of life and death. Michelle.
Thanks, Arlene, and thank you, everybody, and good afternoon. Very sadly, today we can confirm that a further 6 people have died as a result of COVID-19, bringing the total number of confirmed deaths to 140. So to all the families and friends of those people who have lost, I am so sorry for your loss. Our thoughts are with you all as you not only try to come to terms with the loss of a loved one, but to do so in the most challenging and the most heartbreaking of circumstances. And to everyone who has lost someone during this time, whether it has been a result of coronavirus or not, you are not forgotten. Your loved ones are not forgotten. And we stand with you and we send our most sincerest of condolences. It's crucially important that we have a very clear picture of the impact of COVID-19 right across our community. And I know there are many people who are concerned around the reporting of COVID-19 deaths outside of hospital settings and particularly in our care homes. And we all know that our elderly population is particularly susceptible to the effects of this disease. And we also know that care homes are particularly vulnerable. And it is a welcome development that NISRA will now be publishing weekly reports on the deaths and suspected deaths related to COVID-19 in care homes. I think these statistics, whenever they're available, will be sobering, and I believe that they will reflect a truer picture of the devastation that is caused by COVID-19. It will bring home to us all just how serious this situation is, and more importantly, why we all must continue to follow that crucial advice. To stay at home and only go out if you absolutely have to keep that safe distance of 2 metres away from others, and don't go out if you don't have to, and keep washing your hands. Because it's because of those actions that we are saving lives. You are making a difference. You made an effort over the Easter weekend. You stayed at home. But we cannot be complacent, and we must keep going for this for as long as we need to. The Executive has had a very lengthy discussion today on this issue, and we have agreed that the outbreak has not reached a point where restrictions can be relaxed, and keeping these measures in place remains a necessity. Lives are being saved because of these measures. Lives are being saved because you are staying at home. We know it's not easy, but this is the time to dig in. This is the time to stay strong, and this is the time to stay at home and to save lives. Another key component in saving lives is the scaling up of testing. And I am pleased to say that we're making some progress on the issue. Capacity is increasing, with testing now being carried out at multiple sites, with further centres due to open tomorrow in Derry and in Craigavon. The assistance from DAERA's Agri-Food and Biosciences Institute, AFBI, in consortium with Queen's and Ulster University, in testing up to 1,000 samples a day is also hugely welcome, and a great example of the kind of collaboration and innovation that we need to get us through this crisis. We are still in the surge period here, and we're grateful to all of our staff working on the front line. And when we get to the other side of this wave, what's important is that we quickly arrive at the point where we have that full-scale community testing, contact tracing and isolation in accordance with the World Health Organisation's advice. There's so many people that we owe a great deal of gratitude to. So from this platform today, to the army of seamstresses who are making scrubs, thank you. To the band of volunteers who delivered vulnerable people their food over the weekend, thank you. To all those people that are out trying to delivering medicines, again, thank you. At this time of crisis, I think we all witnesses the very best of our society and the very best of our people. We're all on this journey together, and it's going to take all of us to come out the other side.
Ken Reid, UTV. It's quite clear from your words that the lockdown is going to continue. How long do you envisage that going on before you review it? And has the Executive a plan on how to eventually relax the strict regulations at the moment? And then in terms of care homes, many relatives of people in care homes feel they've been neglected. Now I notice that today, south of the border, they have come to an agreement where workers in the health service could be used in care homes to help a staff shortage. Are you looking at anything like that up here?
Thanks, Ken. So I'll take the issue in and around the regulations. Yes, the Executive has confirmed that the regulations that are in place will remain in place for a further 3 weeks. As you know, we review that every 3 weeks, and so we will now review that again based on the data that we have as to what should happen in the future. You will remember that when this all started, the process was about containing, then it was about delaying, and then it was about mitigation, and the next phase of that is recovery. And we're not at that stage yet, But what we will be doing in the executive will be planning for the recovery. And of course, it's right that we need to plan for the recovery. And as Michelle says, we had a long executive today, but it was a very useful executive where, of course, we talked about the issues, not least in relation to care homes, but we did also reference the need to plan for the recovery, and we will be doing that over the coming weeks. But the regulations stay in place for the next 3 weeks, and we will be reviewing that coming up to that date as to whether we can relax those or whether we need another period of time. But I think it is right, it's appropriate, it is proportionate that we keep in place these regulations for another 3 weeks.
I think our biggest danger still in this period is complacency, obviously the measures are showing positive results, but if any of us start to relax our attitude or start to relax our behaviour, then we would be in danger. So the message again has to be for people to follow that public health advice. We understand that these restrictions are quite severe, but you're only being asked to do them because they are necessary and they're to get us through this. So please, people, keep doing what you're doing. As soon as we can get to the other side of this wave, then clearly we look at all these things and we keep everything under review. But the message from us both today is please follow the advice. Don't start to relax. Even though the weather's fine, people just need to keep doing what they're doing. In terms of care homes, obviously these are our most vulnerable people in society. These people need our love and attention more so than many, many others. And I think that it's important that there's a focus continually on the care homes. We had some discussion around that today at the executive. I welcome the fact now that any resident who has symptoms will be tested. That's very positive. I welcome the fact that there's a dedicated contact point from the department through the chief social worker working directly with our care homes, because we must, we're not in normal times, and we must do absolutely everything we can to protect those people in society that are more vulnerable, and that is the people who live in our care homes. If we're not in normal times, and we know we're asking people, both as individuals, to do different things, we're also asking people who work across the health service to do different things. And if we need people to work in nursing homes, then I'm quite sure that there would be nobody would be found wanting in actually trying to make that happen. I just want to send a message to all those out there that have loved ones in care homes. They're at the forefront of our mind also, and we'll be making sure that everything that needs to be done will be done.
I think, Ken, as well, Michelle's right. It's important that people have a contact to go to in the health service if they feel that there are difficulties in care homes. And the Health Minister was able to share with us today that RQIA have been repurposed now. Instead of just inspecting homes, they're there for guidance and support. And there's a contact point if people want to contact RQIA if they have concerns, and they should do so through that point. Because, as Michelle says, our care homes contain some of our most precious members of society, and therefore we really do want to make sure that they are protected at this very difficult time.
First Minister, Deputy First Minister, I wonder if you've been following the debate there's been in recent days about the different per capita death rates in the UK and in the Irish Republic, with UK per capita death rates running at more than double those in the Irish Republic. I wonder whether you think that's anything to do with different government policies, or whether it's more about the sort of fundamentally different facts in terms of population density. And given that Northern Ireland, in terms of the rate of the progression of this disease, seems to be mirroring the Irish Republic perhaps more than Great Britain, does that mean that we should make our own decision in our own time about any exit strategy from the lockdown?
Well, thanks for that, Mark. I think I have been following that debate, and I think it is important that we look at all of the different metrics around this and all of the different data. Certainly, I do think population density does play a part, because if you look at the different population density in places like London compared to rural Fermanagh, for example, you will see that there is a complete difference in the way in which the coronavirus has taken hold. Obviously, there are different cultural issues across these islands as well that you need to take into consideration. Family structures. There's a whole range of reasons why, and no doubt when this is all over we will be looking at this all with hindsight. But I think what is important at the moment is that we look to our modelling, and you will know that we have our own Northern Ireland specific modelling. We do that in conjunction with colleagues in the Republic of Ireland, sharing data, and of course the Four Nations approach across the UK as well. So we will move on the scientific data as advised by our own Chief Medical Officer, and I think that that is the wise way to proceed.
And yes, obviously we all follow these debates, and I think that there will be plenty of time for reflection on the other side of this. But I do welcome the fact that we have our own modelling, that we are working on a north-south basis as well, because I think that we live on an island, so that gives us an automatic advantage. And anything that works to our favour right now is something that we're all very grateful for. So we continue to work on a north-south basis as well as an east-west basis, because as we work our way through this, we have to be able to reflect to our own circumstances here. We have our own assembly, so we have the ability to make decisions that impact on our people here. Again, I want to drive home the message: there's no room for complacency. We still are here every day to save lives, and we need to keep doing what we're doing, because this is the space that we're now in. We're now in the middle of our surge, so it's important that we remind people that that's the space that we're in, and then over the weeks and months ahead, then there'll be plenty of time for reflection.
Hi, Ministers. It's David Young here. I hope you can hear me. I was just looking for clarity, if it was possible, just on two specific issues. The first of all being the PPE order that I believe potentially a deposit was going to be paid earlier this week for that order from China. Has that gone ahead as planned? And if so, when can we expect delivery of that shipment? And secondly, the issue of clarity I was looking for was in regard to the Health Minister's request for Army support. Was that discussed at the Executive today, and has there been any resolution in regard to the issue? I suppose it's specifically for the Deputy First Minister in respect of the issue she raised at the weekend. Was that related to the principle of the Army coming, or was it the way in which the request had been made by the Health Minister?
Let me just put that one to bed. I mean, I've said it here on this platform, I don't know how many times, and I'll say it again today. My number one priority is to save lives, and whatever is required, including using the British Army to save lives, and that's what I will not stand in the way, and that's what I'm here to do. I only have one objective. I have raised concerns just with the Health Minister around how that was communicated, and the fact that there wasn't an executive discussion, but I've had that conversation with Robin. There clearly is guidelines around these things, and all departments will be aware of those guidelines. On the issue of PPE, I can't give you the exact detail in terms of the deposit being paid, but I can say that they're working really, really hard, working around the clock to get that order delivery and actually on a ship, or get it sent back to us, get it back here as quickly as possible. And we hope to be able to update people with that over the course of the next number of days. But Department of Finance, Department of Health, all our officials across CPD and BSO have been working around the clock on this, and it's fair to say there has been progress, but we'll have to keep you updated on that in the time ahead. But it's a hugely significant order. Okay.
Hi, it's Lynn Hart here in the photograph. The Education Minister gave some indication today that a decision is imminent regarding the holding of exams. Realistically, how long do you think students and teachers can wait for the outcome, given that decisions have already been made in England and Wales? Do you have any idea what his time frame or what his thinking is?
Well, he'll be coming. The reason is he wants to go in front of the Assembly first, and he'll be going to the Assembly tomorrow. He's scheduled to give a statement to the Assembly tomorrow, so I think you can assume that will cover exams, and so it will be dealt with tomorrow.
Thank you.